Man, those intros are getting good, aren't they? I'm really upping my game, at least I feel like I am.
I would give it a C minus.
On my editing skills, I'm learning as I go, and I think I'm getting better and better. The wife told me that the intro to this almost looked like a movie trailer. Independent, small-time movie trailer maybe, but I'm getting better, What's up, guys? I am Wes, the Suburban Viking.
I'm Dave, master of all axe things in this realm.
And we're talking about the SOG War Fighter. As you saw in the title, you're probably thinking to yourself, what's up with that thing? What's up with that title? Well,
cute name for a kitchen utensil.
That's right, we'll tell you why. The SOG War Fighter was really cool looking. As you can see here, it looks awesome. I loved it. I thought it would be awesome to review. But I'm going to show you guys why, with the spike being gone, it's really designed maybe for a Chow haul. Now, we'll get into this video a couple different ways. First, we'll start with the specs.
Over the camera.
I'll talk to you guys about throwing this thing because it is a great flyer. It really is. And then at the end, we'll talk about the cons and what happened and what I think's going on with this little hatchet here, or this war axe.
The damn thing fell apart. That's what happened. I blame Loki.
That's right, Dave. That's right. So let's just jump into the specs on this thing. Okay, so the reason why I bought it was for two reasons. Number one, check out this sheath, guys. What a cool sheath. Kydex sheath. It has a clip in the back if you want to put it on a backpack, put it on your belt. Has a clip there. You can put it on Molly. You can do whatever you want with it. Very, very durable and robust sheath. It is a little cumbersome, but it's still really good. It's a really good sheath. It does have a snap here to hold the axe in. Now, I will tell you guys, I can't show you, but before the head broke off the handle, I was putting it in and taking it out. It is very, very secure in there, and you have to kind of give it some force to put it in and take it out. So I will give SOG props. They did an awesome job with this sheath. A little big, a little cumbersome, but I'd rather have a nice sheath than no sheath at all. So, and of course, what we do on this channel with sheaths, guys, we really don't need it, do we? We really don't need it, do we? Okay, so specs. 8 3/4 inches long, weighing in at 1.5 pounds. Now, I got on the website after I filmed the video, of course, to check out what this material of steel or whatever this thing was made out of. Now, on the website, it says that it's made out of an extremely durable haft.
Yeah, that's looking mighty durable from here.
And that the head is made of 3CR13 MOV. But it doesn't say the actual haft steel quality, what it's made of. It just says steel. Okay. Comes with G10 grip panels. G10 grip panels, guys, and these grips are freaking awesome. They are awesome. I love them in my hand. I love throwing this. It feels good in the hand. I think you could do everything with this type of grip. Chopping, throwing, kindling. It is just a great grip. It really is. Held on with 3 bolts on the sides and then a bolt underneath here. Now, I will tell you guys, the bolts on the sides came loose like 1 or 2 times, but this bolt down here at the bottom kept coming loose all the time. Like every 2 or 3 throws, I kept having to tighten it. As you guys know, I've said that before about all steel axes that utilize G10 grip panels or other forms of grip panels. Normally speaking, if you don't Loctite them, they always come loose. And this was no different. It kept coming loose, okay? Now, the only con I'll say about this grip is that the side panels here, you know, if you hold it like this, the side panels on the left and right feel really good in the hand. The front panel and the back panel are exactly the same. They feel great too, but they extend a little far out for me. I would probably take them in a little bit more because I did notice when I was throwing it, I was getting kind of a bump, 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 bump on my hand when I was releasing it. It didn't affect accuracy. It didn't. And I didn't have any issues throwing it, but it was more of an annoyance. So if I was to say anything, I would say probably that these G10 grip panels on the front and back need to be taken in just a little bit more. They extend a little bit too far out for my liking. But other than that, they felt good. They really did. I really enjoyed throwing it with these grip panels. They were awesome. The axe head is really cool too, guys. As you can see here, it's very interesting. Now, we did lose the spike, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And I did resharpen the back, so that way I could throw it with a smaller spike which worked out. But what a really cool design. As you can see here, I really had to work on these cheeks. I think if you got this, you wouldn't really need to work on the cheeks because they are a little fat. It's kind of a weird design where the bit kind of comes down like this, and then when it gets past the cheeks, it comes back in. So it's like this. So what I did is that I just took the cheeks down on the side to make it just come more like this, okay? More like a Gränsfurstbruk bit design, which I love their bit designs for axe throwing because they're great for work and axe throwing. So I kind of gave it the same bit design as one of their axes. Other than that, it's really cool. You do have a nice bit. I will say that the edge held pretty well, and you do have a bit down here as well. So basically you have a bit from the toe to the heel and then underneath to the other heel. So from here all the way up, you have a bit. Great head design. I love the way this thing looked. It was really cool, and that was one of the reasons why I bought it. It just worked out really well. And one other thing too, I'm glad that they used Allen head style bolts. I hate star bits. I don't know if you guys ever use, there was an axe I did the other day that had star bits right here. I don't know what it is about star bits, guys, but I'd freaking round those things off every time I use them. I hate them, can't stand them. I'd rather use Allen style bolts, Allen head style bolts. So I'm glad that they put those in there instead, because those star bits are a pain in the you-know-what.
In the ass. Pain in the ass, I'll say it.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. He's right. As you guys know, I don't like looking at specs and reviews and all that prior to getting an axe in. I go off what it looks like, and that's basically it. And your recommendations. And something that I might see that's cool, and I'll go, I want to throw that. So I went back onto the SOG's website, onto the Warfighter axe page, and I really wish people that do not know how to throw axes, or people that don't have very much experience throwing axes, maybe they're like a bushcrafter that's got a lot of experience doing that but don't know anything about axe throwing. They love to go in and tell people about axe throwing. Stay in your lane. Okay, just saying. On the main page, there's a paragraph there, and the person's talking about this thing, and it says throwable but not weighted for it. There's nothing wrong with the weight of this all steel axe here. I don't know why somebody would say that. The cool thing about all steel axes, and as you guys know, I've done reviews on all steel axes before. Some are weighted properly and some are not. The cool thing about all steel axes is that when you get small, really small, like 8 to 9 inch long all steel hatchets, the weight kind of becomes obsolete because all the weight is really centered. Okay? Does that make sense when I say it's centered? Meaning that the longer the axe handle is, the more the weight matters, in a sense. Because when it's small like this, it feels like all the weight is centered right here in the middle of your hand. Whereas when the handle gets longer, if there's more weight on the pole, you're going to feel it tipping back. If there's more weight on the bit, you're going to feel it tipping forward, right? So when you start getting into small, and that's even the same with weird axe heads that are on really small wooden handles, you can get away with a little bit of a misdesign or outside the throwing axe design that's good for axe throwing. You can get kind of out of spec and be okay with a very short handle. Because like I said, it really centers that weight in the middle of your hand. Now, it will cause wobble when you throw it. It still will, but for the most part, you can get away with it. There's nothing wrong with this. It's not horribly weighted for axe throwing, and I don't know why that person said that. It's not weighted for axe throwing. Stay in your lane, dude. Just saying. And speaking of axe throwing, let's talk about my experience throwing the Warfighter. It was awesome. It really was. It's a great flying hatchet or axe. I had no issues at all throwing it a single rotation. It performed beautifully at a single rotation. And as you guys know, I told you it's 8 3/4 inches long, but it comes in at 1.5 pounds, being that short. So you can imagine when you throw this into the target, when you hit, you are going to smash. You really are. It hits with some damn force. It really does. And I was able to pull out all kinds of different trick throws with it. I will tell you guys, I didn't get a ton of time throwing it. I threw it a little bit at the beginning of the video, my dynamic entry, and then I got it home and I got all the single rotations pretty much that I wanted out of it. And then I started going back for distance, and that's when things kind of went, the thing kind of shit the bed. It really did. But I did get a lot of time throwing it at a single rotation and a little bit of time at distance. And I will tell you, at single rotations, this thing was awesome. It really was. It did everything I wanted it to do. It did have a little heft to it at 1.5 pounds, but you were still able to throw it really hard and get it out very cleanly and very fast because of how short it is. And that was one pro about it, is that it's a heavy package coming in very short, so it's very maneuverable and very great.
Someone hit the reset button.
I know, that doesn't make sense. It was just great. It was great at a single rotation. Flew really well. Trick throws were really easy to do with it, and we were smashing with it hard too. Now, getting into why you might have issues with something like this when you do axe throwing with something this small. I found that some of these hatchets and axes that are designed for axe throwing, or if you go outside and throw them, ones that are the hardest to throw, in my opinion, are the short ones. The shorter the axe or the shorter the hatchet, the harder it becomes to throw. Not because it's harder to throw, because trying to get your placement to do single, double, triple, quadruple rotations can throw you off because it's so short. And it may take you some time to get used to a very small hatchet or axe because it's different. It just is. When you guys start getting into 7, 8, 9, 10-inch long hatchets, it can throw you off a little bit judging distance. So if I say anything, I will say that when you start getting into these small ones, it becomes a little frustrating and a little difficult judging distance. But once you get it, it's a hell of a lot of fun. So keep that in mind. Normally speaking, I like telling people to stay in the 14 to 17-inch range. Those are usually the best ones lengthwise to stay in for axe throwing, to be able to judge distances, because you don't have a lot of maneuverability, or not really maneuverability, but I should say you don't have to move a lot between a 14 and 17-inch axe or hatchet. Just a little bit here and there. But when you start getting into something this small, you'll see how much of a change you have to make where you stand at when you throw these, especially moving and doing dynamic throwing. When it came to throwing this thing for distance, I didn't notice anything different than throwing it for a single rotation. It just performed. I was very consistent, very accurate with it. I got in a few throws on camera at I think I was either at a triple or quadruple rotation. I can't remember. That's kind of where I started at. There was no point in going to doubles. I just went back to that far, triple or quadruples, and started throwing it, and it flew exactly how I thought it would. After throwing it for single rotation, guys, I normally can tell if it's going to fly well for distance, and it did. It flew really well. It wasn't until I started getting into dynamic throwing when we had the issue that we had. But all in all, it is a great flying hatchet. It really is. And I really wish the durability was there, because this thing would have made a place on my wall, and it would be something that I would recommend to you. But I can't recommend this hatchet right now, and it's going to have to stay in the Chow haul. It really is. And we'll talk about the cons on this thing and why it broke, how it broke, where the hell the spike went. And we'll talk about all the cons on it now. Now, this thing was a great flyer. It really was. It flew really well in the air. I love the G10 grip panels. It checked every box for me for an all-steel hatchet. It really did. Everything was there for me. Even the look, the design, which is something I like looking at when I buy axes to review. I want to like the design, which I did. Everything was there. But the quality just wasn't.
I think Loki may have infiltrated SOG. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, guys, I'm going to have to agree with Dave, not trying to be rude or mean to SOG. But yeah, the quality on this thing is just not there. I've dealt with SOG hatchets before, and they held up. They did. And I generally think SOG makes some pretty decent stuff. They do. In my experience, they have. You might have a different experience, but in my experience, SOG really hasn't let me down all that much. Here or there a little bit, but for the most part, it holds up. But this one right here just didn't, guys. It didn't. As you can see here, we lost the spike. One throw with the spike sunk it into the target, and it snapped off. It snapped off so deep in the target, I couldn't even get it out. And it was in the dynamic entry in the woods. It was like my third throw. And I wasn't even throwing that hard, guys. Just to let you know, when I do my dynamic entries, I don't throw before I go out there. I kind of just throw how I would normally throw if I just picked up an axe and went outside and threw. I kind of push through it and make it work. So I wasn't even throwing hard. And it was in that portion of the video where I'm standing behind the tree and I come around and throw for distance, the spike hit. And I wanted to test the spike, of course, and it snapped off. Snapped off and it was gone. And I thought, here we go. As soon as that happened, I knew we were going to have issues with this. And we were going to have issues with the steel quality. And that's exactly what happened. After I got done the dynamic entry into the woods, I was really concerned about throwing this. When I got back home, I was like, what else is going to happen to this thing? What else could possibly happen? And I never in a million years would think that this would happen with a clean bit strike. And I'll roll in the video now of when this actually happened because I got it on camera. It was when I went back to start throwing this thing for distance. Me and Dave kind of had our fill at a single rotation, and we were moving back to do, I think it was either triple or quadruple rotations, and I was running across the camera, I think. Yeah, I was running across the camera, kind of doing one of those slinging throws while I'm moving sideways. And the bit went into the target. It stuck around face level, which is where I was aiming at. And when it hit, even from back there, I saw that when the daggone thing hit, I saw the handle kind of go like it hit, and then I saw the handle kind of do this. And I yelled over to Dave. I said, Dave, because he, was standing next to the target. I said, what in the hell happened to that handle, man?
And I said, Houston, we have a problem here.
Yep. And it went to shit. So I kind of went over there and looked at it. I didn't touch it. I kind of looked and I saw that if this is the target here, the axe handle was kind of sitting. This is how, it normally looks. It was sitting like this. And I said, you got to be kidding me. So I kind of walked back to the camera, grabbed it, took it over there, set it up, and I barely even touched the handle. It was sitting in the target like this. I really just kind of just went up and it literally just fell out of the axe head. I don't know what's going on with this steel quality. I really don't. As I told you guys before in the description, it does not say what the actual steel quality is of the handle. And I found it strange, just kind of going back and looking here, that they word it a certain way. The Warfighter axe boasts an exceptionally durable full metal haft.
Again with the durability comment.
Yeah, I know, Dave, I know. Attached to a razor-sharp 3CR13 MOV stonewash steel axe head. Now, if you want to talk about how this wording is and say it's specifically worded to say that the axe head is 3CR13 MOV and that the haft just says metal, you could take it both ways. You could say, well, maybe the whole thing is 3CR13 MOV, or maybe the only thing that is 3CR13 MOV is the axe head. Maybe that's why they worded it metal haft. I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I'm not saying it is, and I'm not a metal person. I'm not an expert. But looking at this break, and I'll put some close-up pictures of it now because I know you guys can't see it from here. It looks like cast to me. C-A-S-T, cast. That's what the ferrule or the handle looks like it's made of. I'm probably wrong because I'm not a metal expert, but it looks that way. It really does. And I'll show you guys something else too that I found interesting. Remember how I told you guys in the past that when you go drilling holes in axe handles, even wooden handles, that can compromise the handle when it comes to axe throwing, right? These holes right here. If I was to take these outside and I was to get a gnarly knob strike, this does affect the integrity of the axe handle. It just does. And I've proven that in another video. Normally speaking, if you get a knob strike with a hole here, it can compromise it where you'll get a split running from here, and it goes right through right here. It's never around it. It never goes around the hole. It always goes right through the center and runs up the axe handle. It's happened to me before, which is why a lot of times I don't like those holes in handles. Sometimes I don't have a choice to use them because that's the way they come from the manufacturer. But I prefer to get one that doesn't have a hole. But the reason why I bring that up is because if you guys look here, and I'll give you another close-up, without showing you, I'll give you a close-up. As you can see here, the hole is where the break in the actual metal haft there, the metal handle, is where the hole has been drilled for this top bolt right here. It cracked right through there, and I'll give you guys a close-up and show you inside the handle where the bolt is going through where the brake is. Now, I'm not saying drilling a hole through steel is going to compromise it every time, because we know that's not true with other all-steel axes I've done reviews on, but I think there's something going on with this steel quality. And putting that hole through it just made it even more weak, and it just couldn't take the stress. I will tell you guys, I was throwing it hard when I got home, but that throw right there wasn't anything insane. I hadn't even taken it to the front yard yet and given it some really hard throws into my log. I mean, I was throwing it hard, but I really get behind my axe throws when I take it up front and throw it in that big log. I mean, I'm coming with some force, and it didn't even make it through that. So it's a shame, it really is, because I really wanted the Warfighter to succeed. Now I want to address SOG. SOG, if you'd like to replace this thing for me, please do. If you're watching this video, I don't want to run with what I've got. If I'm going to have to run with what I've got, this is what video I'm going to put out, and I'm going to tell everybody not to buy it because it's not durable and it's not made to standards. $70 some for this, and this is what happens. I'm a little pissed.
Loki pissed right on us.
That's right, Dave. We're both a little pissed. People spend their hard-earned money on this stuff, including myself. I spent my hard-earned money on this, and I expected more. Now, I know there are manufacturing issues, and I know that that is a thing. A company can put out 50 axes, and 1 to 3 axes every 50 can have issues. I get that. Sometimes it's hard to prevent. So I'm issuing a thing out there to SOG. And if somebody wants to contact SOG for me, they can. If you want me to give another review on a SOG Warfighter, please send me another one. I'd love to do another review. Maybe it's this one I got that's not up to spec. Maybe there's something going on with it. But I would love to get another one and test it. And hopefully that one works so I can come back and change my mind on the Warfighter. Of course, SOG doesn't have to give me another one. They can just say, too bad, Wes. You got what you got, and that's what it is. And I'll just continue to run with this video and calling it a less than Chow haul tool. But I don't want to just say that because I know SOG puts out some pretty good stuff. And I think that they would care. I would think and I would hope that they would care. So I know they have a warranty process. So here's me turning in my warranty card. SOG, here we are. Here's me turning in my warranty card. I would like another one, please. And I'd love to get another one of these great Warfighters and take it outside and prove that this one's a fluke, because it definitely could be. Maybe there's other people online, I have yet to look, that are having issues with this thing too. It's possible. It definitely is. And if they are, and SOG's watching this and you see that this happened to me and it's happening to other people, I think you should check your manufacturing process with the steel quality on the handles. And if it was me, I would widen this hole up in the axe head and make this handle a little thicker. Make the steel a little thicker going down in this handle. Get a little bit better quality steel and we won't have that issue. I was able to take the spike in the back and sharpen it up and reuse it. It worked out a little bit. Good enough, right? Good enough. Sorry guys, you know I hate making these videos, I do, but I'm going to give SOG the opportunity to make it right. Because I want manufacturers, axe manufacturers that make work axes, war axes, tactical axes, dedicated throwing axes, splitting, chopping, whatever you want to call them, bushcraft. I want manufacturers to succeed, and I want them to bring us great axes. So we have to give manufacturers the opportunity to correct things. Maybe they don't know. And that's what I'm going to go. Appreciate your support. Appreciate everything everybody does to make this channel what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Great flying axe. It is. And I wish that I could come to you and say this thing is designed for a war fighter. But right now we're going to go with a Chow haul tool. Good enough for the Chow haul, maybe. I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for your support. See ya. But you know what? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. And we have to take everything in stride, right? In stride. Cool sheath, though. SOG, you did very well with the sheath. I love it. It's a cool sheath. And I don't care about sheaths. So to get my attention with the sheath is saying something. It is. It is.